Welcome to my channel, to everyone who's new here, and of course those of you who are back again, great to have you here. In this video we are going to talk about Render, TAO, Kaspa and ONDO. Things remain exciting, so make sure to watch until the end. So let's just start with Render. So Render did a nice move to the upside. So the target of our old falling wedge in bright blue, we have to put the target not to the breakout point anymore, we put it to the retest point. And if we get another lower point, like for example this one here, then we put it to the lowest point after the breakout. Target exactly $4. Do we have to get there? No, we don't have to get there anymore. Yeah, we already got our push and now we have to see. So I will just take this one out of the chart because we were very close to it, like $3.95, $3.96 and $4 as a target. So close to it. So let me just delete this one. So clean up the chart a bit. So we have also said that we have here an inverted head and shoulders formatation. First target, the left shoulder, worked off immediately 2 hours after we broke out. And what I can afterwards is I take the maximum target, which is the head. We put it then to the retest point, and we also went there. And whenever we get into that targets, like the first one was exactly here, we get some price reaction to the downside. The second one was right here, and we get a small correction to the downside. So those targets are working. But the thing is, okay, we still have the target of the old falling wedge ongoing, even though I deleted it on the chart. In my opinion, we are slowly topping out. And with topping out, I don't mean that we are going to jump into the bear market now. I don't think that. What I think is that we are going to fill those fair value gaps which we have down here. Why that? Because we have built up bearish divergences for almost every coin, or even every coin. Means we have lower highs in the RSI, higher highs in the chart. It's getting a bit dangerous. Do I want to jump into a long trade right now? No, I don't want that. I rather take profits now if I'm in a long position instead of keeping my long positions too long. You already know me. I'm not holding cryptos very long. If we are in the next bear market, then we can talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe XRP and Solana, like hodling them. But I don't accumulate or buy any kind of altcoins. Yeah. In Germany, we need to pay taxes on our cryptos unless we hold them over 1 year. So if I hold a crypto over 1 year in Germany, it's going to be completely tax-free for me. But the issue with that is, who's going to promise me that my altcoin is going to have a value in 1 year? You already know it. Maybe you felt it or saw it. A 70% correction can happen within 1 month or 2 months. Maybe you bought an altcoin for a certain amount of money, and a month later you see that you lost 30, 40, 50% of your investment. So who's going to promise me that this altcoin is even existing in 1 year? So anyway, that's why I'm always short-termed, and I think if we are short-term with altcoins, then it's the most profitable way to trade it. Because altcoins are tradable, or let's say cryptos in general are tradable 24/7, and cryptos are, let's say, impulsive. So for example, if I have a chart pattern, like for example this inverted head and shoulders formatation, and I just take the length of one shoulder and I put it to the breakout point, we work that target off within 2 hours. And it doesn't look much, but if I look, it's already 3% without leverage. If I'm in with a 10x leverage or 20x leverage, then I already made 30 to 60%. And yes, I'm also trading with 25x leverage, very seldomly. I'm more using 50x to 100x leverage. Not with my whole portfolio, but if I go into a trade, then I do it with 50x, 100x leverage. And I'm also going to show you in another video, not today, but I will do a separate video for that, where I'm going to show you how the crypto exchanges are scamming you, like it is a legal scam, which they are doing once you use a 100x leverage, and how I counter it. I will show you that in another video. This is very interesting to look for. Anyway, I would say we are close to it. So if the $3.95 breaks to the upside, it would be positive, and we can fill more fair value gaps to the upside. So we have one at $4.30. We have one in the area between $4.34 to $4.30. And up here we still have one. Do I still want to jump into a long trade once we break the $3.95 to the upside? It is difficult, because if we break it here to the upside, then we can just retest it over a longer time period, and then we are just going to form a falling wedge, for example, which we then break to the upside. So I will personally wait for a bullish chart pattern, which is going to develop over the time, and then I can jump safely into a trade. So I think the gains are made at the moment. We have currently weekend, so it might not be the worst option just to relax a bit and enjoy the weekend. I think that over the weekend we are going to get a consolidation, and this consolidation might end up into a bullish chart pattern. Like, for example, here, a bull flag. And if we then break it to the upside, then we can measure some good targets, like this is just an example, but then we can measure targets in which fair value gap we are most likely going to go. So as long as we don't see that, it's going to be very tricky and very dangerous, in my opinion, to trade. Gains were made. We have done our calls. Our calls were good. Our calls were right. So basically, everything goes good. So what happened with TAO? So like this, we have to adjust that to the lowest point here. Target is still ongoing, $394 US. I would be still careful. We have huge fair value gaps lower than us, even down to $354 US right here. So this is one huge fair value gap, and yes, we can close it. So if I'm in a TAO long position, it won't be the worst idea to just take a few percentages of profit, because we never know if we are going to sell off more than that, and if your trade is not going to get into losses. We never know that. That's why we are a bit more safe in the market. We have also drew here another scenario where we have said if we break here the lows to the downside, then we should see the 314 again. This didn't happen. We broke the 343 to the upside, and this was our scenario that from here we should push up. This one happened instead of breaking through the downside, which is very positive. There, gains were made. I have also tracked here an inverted head and shoulders formatation, which broke to the upside. We already got into the target of the least bullish target, which is the length of one shoulder. We can now put it to the head, to the maximum target. We also went there. So basically, it might be possible that gains are made. It might be also possible, and that's what I think has a higher chance, that we are going to get back into the fair value gap to fill it like this. And from here, somewhere in that area, we are going to start a rally into $404 US. I think this is going to get very realistic for a TAO. So if we now look over Kaspa, then Kaspa was actually not really tradable for us. Even though we have said, okay, it looks good. Here was, for example, one breakout with one retest. Then we also had here some kind of chart pattern. I think this was a bullish pennant breakout retest. But with this push here, we should actually get stopped out with it. And how should I find new chart patterns, like new entries where I can jump into trades? We have said here's a take profit area. The rest, if I don't take everything out of the trade, should be stop loss to break even. Break even point should be somewhere here or here. Would have got stopped out with our other position size, and afterwards we still went for higher prices. And the 9.4 cents, which we have here on the chart, this is our resistance, which we have to break to the upside, and where I think we are going to not succeed breaking it to the upside on the first time. So I can still imagine that we are going to get some kind of consolidation, and then I would like to see a breakout. I will also communicate this one with you on YouTube. If we then break it to the upside, cool, then I can jump into a trade. If we are going to sell off in another chart here to another fair value gap, then we can look for more chart patterns afterwards. But Kaspa is actually not tradable for me, because those candles are, I don't know, I can't see any kind of entry. And it is not, I have said it in the Bitcoin update, it is not about measuring targets and finding chart patterns, finding fair value gaps, resistance, supports. This is the easy part in trading. Believe it or not, this is the easy part. The difficult part is getting a safe entry where I would say I set my stop loss, and my stop loss should not get hit. Instead, I want the targets to get hit. And now find me the perfect point to jump into a trade. You don't know if this is the low. You just know it now because we got this up move. What if we don't have this up move? What if we are right now, right here? Am I going to jump into a long trade or short trade? And this is the most difficult part. Or am I going to wait a bit longer? And then we have seen this push with a huge fair value gap. And the most difficult part is we have a fair value gap. We should fill that fair value gap. But I missed this entry. So now the price is up here. Okay, I will wait until the price goes down again. Yeah, well, you missed your chance again. And here was again a chance. You missed it. So getting entries into the market is even more difficult than measuring targets. That's why if I'm doing YouTube videos, if I'm telling you where the price is going to go, don't expect me to get into huge profitable trades, because sometimes I can't even trade it because I don't find my entry. So with that said, we will jump into ONDO. And for ONDO, it is a bit more different. So for ONDO, I went out of the trade right here. So I saw this one here, the breakout retest. I just tried my luck. I have identified a support. So let me take this one out. So here was the breakout. Here was the retest over 3 hours. I jumped there into a long trade, and I have seen a very interesting support trend line, which I have used as stop loss. So what I have done is, here was my entry, and I put my stop loss not lower than the white trend line, because we have here a fair value gap. I put it lower than the fair value gap. Usually we would have said, okay, we go lower than the lows here or the low here. But this risk to reward ratio I didn't like. That's why I've looked for a very good support. I have seen one. It is even better than the support which we have right here, or this one here. So I used this as a stop loss order. Then we got this push, and I have sold there because there is a resistance. So if we just take a box, so where is the box? Here's the box. So from here to up here, around about here, here's a support box, sorry, a resistance box. And when we got there and I saw it, that we have within the up move one fair value gap here. We also had a fair value gap which went even up to here, at this time. So basically 2 big fair value gaps. We are in a resistance box. In my opinion, I thought this is going to happen. That's why I sold off my ONDO position. I still missed the profits to the upside. But what do I think now? I still think that we can still drop a bit more. And since we are so bullish, I don't want to say that we are going to fill this last fair value gap, but over the weekend, I actually want to see the price forming something like this. And then we have to see if we are going to get one last low and afterwards a nice push, because then I think the target is clear to me, $1.13. And so far I just took, I think it was 8%, 6%. Dogecoin was 8%, I think. Anyway, 6% with ONDO was already taken in profits. It went a bit higher, okay, no problem. But if I see another chart pattern, like a falling wedge, bull flag, doesn't matter, just a bullish chart pattern with a bullish target. Then I think if we then break it to the upside next week, we have fair value gaps. We have many stop losses in that area, because like I said, people are usually using like lows for stop losses for long positions and highs for short positions, and those highs are a bit more significant. So there are more stop loss orders from the short traders. So once we get there, they are going to get stopped out, and we should see the $1.13 in my opinion. Kinda fast. You can already see how impulsive this push here was. And I can imagine that this is going to happen again. And if we just take the same length of this up move, because for a bull flag we are always using the first pump before we get the bullish the bull flag consolidation, we put it then here, and you see it's going like, I will just keep that one on the chart, and I'm actually surprised. I don't actually will get surprised if this is going to happen. So with that said, we will see each other tomorrow. If nothing is going to happen on the market, which I doubt, then I will keep you updated. But I think we are first going to sell off. We have bearish divergences in the RSI. We have huge fair value gaps. And we went into many targets of many chart patterns already. So gains were made for the first push. This is gain 1. Now we are getting into a small break where we get a small pullback, small consolidation, a cool down in the RSI. And then game 2 starts. Game 2 is going to be also very good in my opinion. My current opinion. Then we are going to get another correction. And afterwards, if we break the $1.13 to the upside, $1.60 is going to get in play. And if ONDO is going to $1.60, Ethereum should be at 4,500 US dollar, around about that. Bitcoin, all-time high. XRP, yeah, maybe $4. So let's see where we are going to go. And with that said, we see each other in the next update, hopefully tomorrow.